What is up, NerdzGotWordz universe?
Hey!
What it do?
We're back! Jesus Christ. Yeah, you thought you guys could get rid of us? Nope! We're back, baby. And we got a green screen now, so we're semi-professional. We're not just dumbasses, now we're semi-professional dumbasses.
Yeah.
There it is. We did it. So what are we here to talk to you about today? Well,
Our shirts indicate it.
Book of Boba, baby.
Oh,
No.
yeah.
Mandalorian 2.5.
Mandalorian 2.5. So, Boba, or I guess the Book of Boba, was a long-awaited show. You know, after
Yes,
his
it
premiere,
was.
Mandalorian Season 2, some fans were wondering, you know, is he going to get his own thing? Or, you know, we want more, you know. Because at the end of Episode 6, he kind of, you know, with the whole jetpack thing, he landed in the Sarlacc pit.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it's been hinted for a long time that he survived the Sarlacc pit and that he managed to escape. But it was up until this TV show, I would say, that they kind of made it canon. Now, it was in a few comic books here and there, it was in a few places, but kind of how your average Star Wars fan is unless it's on the big screen, it's not technically canon because it can change. You know, like, so there is some comic books where he did die in the Sarlacc pit, and then there's quite a few more where he lived. So it wasn't until this show that they just confirmed that he is alive.
Yes.
Now, you know, so did this show really just bring Boba back to life, or was it just for fan amusement? Let's talk about it. So first, as always, our initial ratings. So I'll start with you, Murph. What did you think going into this show? Maybe I should have done you last.
Yes, you should have. Anyway, Boba Fett is easily one of the most popular characters in Star Wars. I could go on for days and days and days talking about him, but I won't. I'll refrain myself. Anyway, he's one of the most mysterious characters in Star Wars because he doesn't talk that much. If ever.
It's until now.
At least until now. Yeah. But we as a Star Wars fan base, we wanted more from Boba. And we finally got this show. And I was like, in a year of Star Wars shows, this was a hell of a way to kick it off. Book of Boba Fett. Yes, I am 100% here for it. I want to see what happens in the slum streets of Tatooine, in Mos Espa, in Mos Eisley, everywhere.
No. And the mechanic says it Tatooine.
Tatooine.
Yeah, so...
But I would have easily put it as I'd binge it or I'd see it again.
For sure. So, you know, we saw towards the end of Season 2 where he helps Mando, and then he goes to Tatooine. Boba! He kills that guy.
Boba!
And it just ends with him sitting on the throne with his right-hand lady, Fennec Shen, right there. So it's like, and then it just ends. And then so that just leaves you wanting more. So going into this show, I try to keep a level expectation, but you just can't with this show. From how good Mandalorian was, you knew that they had the potential to make this a good show. And it's sort of, how could they not make it a good show?
Yep.
So I definitely put it as I'd see it again. I mean, let's be honest. Basically, almost all of the shows that have been on Disney Plus have been essentially really, really good.
Yeah.
You know, they haven't hit the nail. You know, they've always hit the nail on the head. They haven't missed yet, in some sense. Yes, there is Captain Falcon Winter Soldier, which was my least favorite so far, just including Disney shows in general. However, that one did not suck. It's just the other ones were so much better that one just kind of, you know, missed the mark just a little bit. So, back to Star Wars. In all honesty, these shows needed to land.
Yes.
Every Star Wars fan, even just a mild Star Wars fan, left with a horrible taste in their mouth from the sequels.
Oh, God,
Now,
don't get me started on the sequels.
Now, there's some people that said, they were okay, or you can't compare them to the originals, which is kind of dumb. But in all honesty, just looking at it from a fresh perspective, from just a new trilogy, it kind of sucked.
Yes,
in all honesty, even removing removing the nerd aspect that we have from it, it wasn't there.
No.
So, Book of Boba from Mandalorian was already starting at a running start.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was not how good it was going to be, it was how great is it going to be. And so with my initial rating, semi-rant over, I think this movie was definitely, I'd see it again. It was a show.
Yeah.
The show. The show, I would definitely see this show again. And, there might be some stuff that we rewatch and be like, oh, now that I know how it ends, I missed that. Hearsay, there say, we have on our Instagram, NerdzGotWordz on Instagram, we have an episode-by-episode breakdown.
Yep, be sure to go check those out.
They're only 15 minutes, guys, and I've literally talked for 5 minutes just on my initial rating, so they're kind of a bit rushed. But anyways, definitely I'd see it again. We essentially already bought it because it's on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
But I definitely see it again. What do you think, Adrian?
Also, if you haven't gone and follow us yet on that page, go follow us.
Give us some love. Follow us on everything.
Go subscribe to us if you like what we do.
Subscribe,
give us attention.
Everything.
Adrian.
Let YouTube know we're here.
Book of Boba, Adrian.
Honestly, it was great. I loved it. I wasn't expecting too much out of it. Like, I wasn't really sure where he wanted to go through, like, his whole motive and everything. I thought he was gonna try to, like, rule with, like, Iron Fist, because that's how Boba is. But no, you find out that he's come back, obviously older, but wiser, more caring.
Yeah.
He's like, I'll help you out. You scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. Don't fuck with me, because I'll still kill you, though, because I'm still a badass. And just, like, some there's, like, a lot of recaps there in when they're in Tatooine. Like, there's a lot of, like, background scenes that you see. They're like, oh, that was from the first movie, because I don't know. Remember when Mando flies his ship?
Yeah.
And he goes through the pits.
Yeah.
And then he passes through the one pit where Anakin did his...
Went
what
on
was it?
Baker's
On episode
Canyon.
1, yeah.
Yeah, where he did it on
and he breaks
in
through
the pod race.
Yeah, in the pod race, he breaks through that one hill.
There's a lot of Easter eggs.
There was a lot of good Easter eggs in that movie, and I loved it. And then I did enjoy the fact of how he survived. Like, honestly, I'm glad they didn't try to, like, overdo that. Like, how he survived and anything. Yeah. He's like, no, he just died because he burned the creature alive, basically from the inside. Which was great.
It's Boba. What else do you think?
Because I was like, I don't want to see this whole thing that he just got lucky or everything. Like, no, he thought about it and he got out. And then you find out how he loses his armor from Mandalorian and how someone else has it.
Yeah.
So initially, you're just kind of on the same page as us. Like,
yeah, it was great. Banger. It was, don't get me wrong, I still like Mandalorian better, but Boba is not far behind. Yeah. Like, I can't wait for season 2. I can't wait what's coming, is to come next. I want to see who else is coming back into the roles. Because, you thought some people were dead, but no, they're actually still alive.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I like about these shows. They're like, you thought this person was dead, but nah, he's alive.
One thing I've learned after watching movies for such a long time is unless I literally see them on screen die, they're not dead. They could not be dead. Like, for example, we... Like in a lot of movies, in the Escape Room movie, we saw Escape Room 2, we saw someone die. And it turns out that they come back later on because the camera kind of viewed off them dying and they came back. So, with Boba, listen, Mace Windu needs to come back to life. If Boba can survive a Sarlacc pit, you're telling me Mace can't survive going out a window?
I mean, he got his arm sliced though, so
yeah, robot arm, he'll be fine.
Oh, jeez, okay.
Samuel Jackson can wear an eye patch. I think he'd be fine with.
Well, what was I gonna say? Like, yeah, because there's like, they introduced more into these human cybernetic issues.
Yeah,
and I was like, oh, they can do that, and I was like, oh, okay, because that's how Boba ended up saving, what's her name?
Fennec Shand.
Yeah. Which I thought she was like dead. I was like, how are you gonna fix that?
Exactly.
You found out that she fixed the whole stomach. And I was like, yeah, gross, but cool.
So let's get right into right up from the beginning, the Sarlacc pit. At first I was like, the stormtroopers down there.
Yeah.
And it turns out he was it turns out a stormtrooper for once in their life was actually useful.
Yeah.
He used his, which I thought was pure genius. Like he used his sort of his oxygen tank type thing
in the mask.
Yeah, in the mask, the filtration to help him breathe again. Mm-hmm. And for those of you that don't know, that we've explained on our Instagram, a Sarlacc pit pretty much deteriorates your lungs because there's literally zero oxygen. Mm-hmm. And the reason why he survived is because when your body is kind of essentially knocked out, you breathe in and consume a lot less oxygen. So therefore, that's why, at least from a biological standpoint, why he was able to survive. Now, his weapons are probably smudged. At least, like how is he going to shoot his way out? What is he going to do? Is kind of raised the question. He goes to the damn flamethrower, which is probably the best weapon to use in that case.
Yeah.
And he gets out, and you're like, let's go. Boom. Immediately robbed. And it's so funny. And so that kind of...
he gets robbed by Jawa.
But
and
who else?
The only that kind of annoyed me about that was that he goes back to the pit to find his armor. I was like, do you not remember that the Jawas were like taking your...
Well, you gotta keep this in mind. He's deprived. He's dehydrated. He's out of food. He's probably in a hallucinogenic state. So when he's robbed and when he wakes up, he's just, he doesn't really even know where he is.
The other thing is that he knew that the pit would not dissolve his armor. So what? You thought every piece of your armor just slipped off of
no,
you?
He just
was in there. That was my only issue.
Yeah, that was a good thing. One thing I definitely want to touch on. Now, this was probably for some reason, honestly, I don't get it. Their most critiqued thing outside of the Power Rangers was the backflashes going into the septic tank, sort of catching us up to the present. What did you think of those, Mark?
I don't know what y'all were tripping about with the flashbacks.
All of them as a whole.
I loved the flashbacks. Like, I personally found them enjoyable because we could connect the dots and seeing what happened between the 5 years after.
Yeah, without the flashback, you wouldn't know why he had a stick. You'd be like, why has he got a stick?
Or why does he have a Tusken rifle?
Exactly.
How was he there when he saved Fennec? Like, the flashbacks help bring you to the present. But I think more underlining that they show is his evolution as a character.
Yeah, now, and it also showed the fact that, and Ryan touched on this earlier with the Sarlacc pit. If you guys don't know, a Sarlacc, essentially, if you fall in, no armor, nothing, no protective layer on you whatsoever, you're dead. Once you fall in, the Sarlacc essentially attaches you to its walls. And it immediately breaks your skin down.
Yeah, you basically fall directly into its stomach. So you're getting digested by its gastrointestinal acid.
Yeah, so not only is your skin deteriorating from the walls of the inside of the stomach, there's no oxygen to breathe at all. There's chemicals in there. There's carbon dioxide, whatever you want to call it. There's toxins in there that won't allow you to breathe at all. So that's another way where you could die. And it slowly digests you throughout 1,000 years. Think about that for a second. You are being digested over 1,000 years. Wild. But anyway,
Star Wars theory. Logic.
But I don't know what everybody was tripping about,
the
flashbacks and everything. No, because it not only allowed Boba to recover, but it also allowed us to see what happened to him during the time of what did he do after the Sarlacc pit? What happened to how did he get the stick? How did he even show up about on Tython with the Mandalorian and Grogu?
Why is he different?
How did he even know where his armor was? And I just thought that it was really awesome. It was really cool, and it was a really good aspect of the show. So props to to Dave Filoni and Lucasfilm and Jon Favreau.
Happy from Ireland.
Jon Favreau at Lucasfilm.
I mean, it was definitely better than putting him in the tank and then just showing Fennec do other stuff. You know, because, you know, what else could you do? I think him needing to heal was kind of the big premise of at least the first half of Book of Boba, at least the first 4 episodes.
Yeah.
What do you think about it, Adrian?
Yeah, honestly, same thing as Nick was saying. I don't know why people were complaining about like all these flashbacks. Like, it shows us what happened to him after, what he do, how he survived, and how he like changed as a person too. Because
exactly
when this whole Tusken tribe took him in, he thought he was just a solo guy. He doesn't work for he just works for money.
If Boba was a little bit better, he probably would have killed all of them himself.
Yeah,
and taken the resources.
Exactly, but no, he learned from them. He evolved from these people, and then in the end, they took him in. I was like, "Yo, you one of us now."
Yeah,
and that's it. And that's how his whole perspective changed.
And even then, just to chime in a little bit, the Jawa scene in that instance. He was so, to your point, he was so dehydrated. He was so...
hallucinogenic, essentially.
Yeah, exactly. He didn't have any food for months. I don't know how he survived,
should have went to Korean barbecue.
But, refill on that water.
The Jawas knocked him out when they were taking his armor. That's the only way that he could have lost to Jawas. And that they could have knocked him out, is if he was in that state.
Yeah. So
I just found it funny.
The backflashes are, in my opinion, essential to his evolution in present day. Let's be honest.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Boba, ever since he was like 8 or 7, in in Clone Wars,
yeah,
shoot first, ask questions later.
Yeah. To break it down, Boba was more ruthless than Jango was.
But you also have to remember that he was trained by other bounty hunters. Like,
yes,
after he lost
Cad Bane,
Cad Bane trained, because literally is like he was basically his teacher. He was learning out of him.
Well, his whole childhood was about revenge on Mace Windu.
Yeah,
and basically just trying to be like the best bounty hunter out there.
So that's
what his reason of why he was like shoot now, ask questions later.
Yeah,
let's be honest. Boba back then would not have saved Fennec. He would have never thought of taking over Tatooine. He would have never thought of other people's values or other people's like wanting to change things. He was like, do this job, kill this guy, get money, and move on.
Yeah. And
Fennec kind of brings up kind of to that point when she says, we don't do that. We just do the job and we move on, If we die, someone else replaces us. And he's kind of, thinking, why is it like that? And he wants to not only rule Tatooine for himself, but rule it for the people that are in his life. Yeah. And the flashbacks show this evolution, and it also shows that the Tuskens, of all people, kind of ingrained this within him. Who thought that, some random sand dudes would be able to teach Boba... Yeah, they would have taught Boba about humility and saying that you don't always have to be alone.
Exactly.
Yeah. That you at least need one other person.
Yeah.
Despite how useless the Power Rangers were, they were there, Fennec kind of low-key carried everything, but...
And at the same time, because of his perspective, he changed a lot of, like, famous bounty hunters, their perspective as well.
Yeah.
Fennec,
Black Chrysanthemum.
Yeah. Like, and that guy was just a ruthless Wookiee killer.
I mean, yeah.
But his whole perspective was like, yo, let me give you some advice. Stop working for people.
Yeah.
Instead, work with people that actually care, that will care for you. And basically, after all that, Chrysanthemum saw that and it was like, you know what?
Yeah,
I like you.
Even then, Boba told Fennec when he was trying to recruit her, he's like, how many times have you gone on jobs where there was just no need for anyone to die?
Yeah.
Where somebody had to die for some stupid reason,
Exactly.
And this is definitely the probably biggest growth I think a Star Wars character has essentially really ever had that I can think of. In one episode, he had more character development than Rey in 3 movies. So,
damn, yeah, got him.
I mean,
Oh my
No. To take it a step further, the Tuskens in one episode had more growth than Rey did in 3 movies.
Oh my god.
No offense, sequel fans, but
Now-
low-key kind of offense.
now, let's just get into the whole aspect of him wanting to rule Tatooine in general. We get into this old Boba, new Boba, old Boba. Old Boba. I'm playing too many games. Old Boba probably would never have even thought of that at all. Even with Jabba dead,
He would have.
I think he's like, oh, I'll just go under a new employer. I don't care. Or I'll be instead of for the Hutts, I'll just do it for the Pikes or the Crimson Dawn or someone else. I think if he joined the Crimson Dawn, that would have been crazy. But
basically anyone who had money out there, he would just join them.
Yeah. What do you guys think was his why do you think he wanted to rule Tatooine? And now, I guess Tatooine has a lot more value than some random planet in the Outer Rim. So I guess Tatooine is financial reasons could be one. But what do you guys really think is his true purpose of ruling Tatooine?
Well,
I just think he was tired of working for other people. In the end, he's like, I'm sick of this shit. I almost died just working for some fat ass who's just gonna pay me pocket change.
Some fat snail
and
or
then,
slug.
But I also feel like the only reason he stopped caring about money is because in the end he claimed a fortune.
Yeah.
Literally, it was like, he's like, money isn't a problem, but muscle is. And I was like, God damn, how much money do you have? Because you look broke as fuck.
I mean, brain and muscle, 2 things I think he values more than money.
True. But in the end, a lot of the brain power is coming from, what's her face?
Fennec, definitely.
Fennec, yeah.
Fennec is definitely the secret carry of the film.
She's
Boba's because you see it, old Boba knew, but we still see it's like, I want to kill him. Let me kill him. And Fennec's like
you're
calm
emotional, chill.
Fennec's like, calm down. We'll just kill him later. And Boba's like, okay. Yeah, and then the whole thing with the note, it's like, here are my terms. Suck my dick. or fuck off, essentially. So what did you think, Murph? His whole ruling Tatooine, did you think it was just for him to be his own boss?
No, I think it was just. And I think it was time for him to become his own boss.
Exactly.
Because for all the times that we can remember as Star Wars fans, aside from the lower levels of Coruscant, where crime is very active in that section, Tatooine is the known crime capital of Star Wars.
Where all the smugglers go, gangsters, everything.
Exactly. And
killers, bounty hunters.
Essentially the wild, wild west of Star Wars.
All in one planet.
Exactly. So I think he's had enough of working for idiots, in his eyes, idiots, that he wants to be smart about how he runs his operations and everything like that. And he knows that he needs more than just himself to run it, which he comes to find out later on.
I mean, the Pike Syndicate has a council of leaders. The Black Sun does. The Crimson Dawn has a couple. Even the Hutts have a council.
The council.
He knows he can't rule it by himself, so he's trying to build up his own council. Essentially.
Yeah, exactly. And even then he's like, that's still probably not going to be enough, because nobody respected him initially, and they were like, just another guy. He'll die out in a couple of years. Whatever. It's just the same shit. But no, he wanted to rule through respect rather than the classic iron
fear.
fist. Fear me,
In the end, he also wanted to make a group of people that he could actually trust back and that can trust him, which in the end he does.
Yeah.
I mean, Chrysanthemum's just go over there, kill that dude. Okay. I gotta read this book.
Oh,
just tell me who
we're
to
gonna
kill.
we're gonna get to.
Yeah, we're definitely getting it. But yeah, I fully agree with your point. I mean, this show, not only is the actor himself older, but Boba is older. He's not in his 20s, early 30s. He's an old man. And sure, he can still pop off like he did in his younger days, but why would he do that when Jabba's dead? Like when he sees Tatooine as kind of a free takeover. I mean, so that's kind of what that is. Now, we've talked about his mentality and, old Boba, we still see some young Boba in there. But let's get into, let's just get them out of the way. The damn Power Rangers, man. The most questionable thing within this entire series. Now, we see them, first off, I'm like, they just don't fit. They're like bedazzlers, like she has a red arm. I'm like, okay. I don't know why this is a new niche where it's like, let's put robot parts. Yeah, like they didn't lose in the war.
Honestly, I was expecting, I was like, all right, modify my arm. And it goes from an arm to a fucking arm cannon.
Yeah, or something.
But no,
cool.
nothing. It was just like a simple, just a simple design. I was like, okay, cool.
Dude, cut off. Here's an idea. Cut off my wrist and give me one of those rotator thingies. It's on their hand. Like it was so dumb.
Make a sword pop
it
out
would
of
have
my
been
hand.
hilarious. I would have laughed to see if like one of them just like removed their head and put on a droid head. That would have been hilarious.
But in the end, it could have just been like how everyone that got modified. It's like maybe they were in a dying situation and they needed that part to be removed.
They run into battle and everything. They have the droid head. They're like, uh-oh.
Roger. But yeah, so I'll go to you first, Adrian. They were just the foot soldiers with too much screen time.
Honestly, basically.
That's kind of what they were, but I don't think you liked them either, but what did you not like? Why did you think that they did not fit? On top of having the slowest, kind of most intense chase I've ever seen. it was lit, but it was so
honestly,
slow.
Their bikes just look like if they were futuristic looking mopeds.
Yeah.
They could at least made them look cooler and make them look like actual bikes.
I mean, in Mandalorian, the sheriff literally had a pod racer engine. Why didn't they have something like that? Like, where the hell did they get... Where they don't have any money, they steal water, but they can afford these bikes? Yeah, okay.
Shiny ass bikes, too.
Yeah, it's like you're on a desert. You're telling me there's not a speck of dust? You use all your water to wash your ride? But what did you not like about them? Is there one thing or maybe two things that you're like, why are you here?
No, just... They weren't, like... I didn't hate them because I can see why they were there. It's to show, like, they are, like, the next generation that could be involved with like saving Tatooine.
God, I hope not.
I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, that's
we'll
true.
see, because they're young, and Boba's like, don't be stupid like how I was stupid young.
Well,
like,
half of them are already dead, except for the black guy that talked and the pale girl.
Super pale and with 3 suns out.
2 suns there, she said.
And she still can't get a tan.
She's wearing FPS 5 million.
But yeah, no, like I just think the only reason I just didn't dislike them that much is like it feels like they're like that next whole Star Wars generation that's gonna be involved in something bigger. You never know. Maybe I'm wrong.
Or maybe they could have the Rey effect where it's just thrown into Legacy.
Fuck, I hope not. Oh, maybe, yeah. But we'll see. Honestly, in the end, they were just like characters to have in the show. That's basically it. Like, I don't know if they have like if they're bigger in something else or not, or in comics, but
the only value that I personally saw out of these cybernetic people is that they kind of portray a slight little kind of old Boba hot-headed type thing.
Exactly.
But they were also there to do the reverse role, to be that extra voice along with Fennec to say you're being too hot-headed, level down, because it's like Boba, turtle up. He wanted to turtle up in his castle, but the Power Rangers were like, no, these are the streets. You got to defend the streets. This is his first act as ruler. He doesn't know everything. And, they've never ruled either, but I think they bring that level of level-headedness, or they're kind of like that voice in Boba's head where Boba's head's telling, in his mind, it's like saying him to do it, but they're the ones physically telling him to do it. And from there, that is their purpose. I do not see them having any other value. What do you think about them, Murph? What do you think about the damn Power Rangers?
I mean, if you want to go that way, then yeah.
Wait, they could have had more screen time. That's all I'm saying.
That's very true, and I'm glad they didn't. But
they were also sorry to interrupt. They also were kind of the eyes and ears. You know, Boba. You know, you see him, you're like, oh shit, that's Boba. But you know, those guys, they're all robotic, but they're not too crazy noticeable where they can kind of listen in on the backroom talk. They were kind of like the spies.
Yeah, exactly. They were kind of like the eyes and the ears of like what was going on within the city and everything. Yeah. That's pretty much all their usefulness was to me. But the mod things just doesn't make sense to me. Like
Fennec's mods made sense.
I was going to say, besides the fact that it could save their lives, because it was her that's Fennec's life that they saved, and at the end, they didn't save what's his face, the sheriff.
The sheriff,
yeah, it's going to save his life. So I feel like that's maybe one of the reasons it's literally there in the mod.
Which I'm like, how does that even work? Like, do they just
Star Wars?
They just take out all the organs in your body and just replace it with machines?
I mean, like Darth Vader.
Yeah, but like those are limbs.
I know, but also all his burns, his whole body having issues.
Yeah, but those were like machines, like on the exterior, not the interior. You know what I mean?
I'm saying if it's gonna replace whole limbs, I'm pretty sure they could do something else.
I mean, as long as you have, you know, something to help with your. I mean, for Fennec, it was mostly just her digestive tract. You know, food goes down one tube. That one makes sense. I don't know. They're like, I don't know how they just wake up. They're like, I don't like this arm. Let
me go replace it with a droid part.
Yeah,
and even then, the mopeds. Like,
they were way too shiny.
What the hell were those?
That shit was funny.
I was like, this is the fastest, slowest speed chase ever. Like, you couldn't have made him a little faster.
Or like, a little bit more.
Well, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what they remind me of? Like some Dr. Seuss shit. Like, you know how they I don't know if you've seen the live action movies, but all that random equipment they bring up.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking of the whole vacuum.
I mean, when you really think about it, they probably made them that slow so that they can get no blur on the cameras.
Yeah.
As they're filming it.
And even then, like, Boba, at this point, Boba isn't an idiot. Like, he knows he needs help and everything like that. But why them? Like, you could have literally had anyone.
I mean, they were kind of challenging authority, I guess. I mean, outside of the things I already said,
besides them just saying, like, oh, we can do whatever we want because we're a group, but in the end, they just honestly wanted to make a decent living.
Yeah.
Instead of, like, stealing. That was basically it. That's how they got hired.
I low-key thought that the chick with the mechanical arm in the trailer, when I saw it, I thought she was going to be a Dark Jedi. But... boy, was I wrong on that.
Yeah. I just felt maybe Boba saw them eventually going down the wrong path, and he wanted to be there to help them out. I don't know. He's kind of like, I don't know. He went from young kill everyone to the Godfather.
And even then, we saw immediately Boba not recovered all the way.
Oh,
he did way more than they did. Obviously, because it's his show, but like, still.
You know what? To that point, do you guys think he took too long to heal? Do you think they could have been done by episode 2, 3? Of him healing?
I think it was.
You think it was a good amount of time to
finish the right amount of time?
I feel like the only reason they did that was just to like fill in all the flashback scenes.
Yeah,
and instead of just having was like, well, there was that one time, and then like he just has a random flashback.
Yeah,
like it just makes sense. It made more sense.
It's like The Witcher, where it just randomly happens. You're like, I thought he was dead. Oh,
it's a flashback.
So I think the flashbacks are fine.
I thought it was spaced out very well.
Yeah. But one critique to that is, it was kind of his excuse, or at least my excuse for him throughout the show. It's like, he's not popping off because he's injured. And when he's healed, he better pop off.
And even then, when Chrysanthemum attacked him in the
his back should have been annihilated.
Yeah. In the normal comic books, we're gonna get to Chrysanthemum next.
We're about to get into Chrysanthemum right now.
Don't worry about that. But he should have broken his spine. when he bear hugged him,
or when he punched him with the electrified knucklers after he just got out of a thing with water, like the conductivity,
exactly.
nerd mode. We're nerds anyways, but like he should have been at least knocked out. And then after they capture him, he just pulls on his bathrobe. He's like, "You get him, boy."
It's just like the concerned dad. He's like, "Oh, what's going on?"
If I was Boba, I would have been full decked out, ready to go. I would have had my armor on. I would have been ready.
Yeah.
But Chris Anton, boys. Chris Anton is here.
Chris Anton, baby. Let's go.
Like, yeah, another thing to the show, canon, is Chris Anton. We haven't seen him before. One thing that you might have noticed is kind of some of his first kind of charred. And just to the comics, that is when he fought Obi-Wan.
Mm-hmm.
Will we see that fight in the Obi-Wan show?
We most likely will.
I hope we do.
Exactly. We most likely.
Why else would he
hope
popped
we
up in Boba Fett?
Now, for those of you who don't know, we did some slight thing on our Instagram, so make sure you do. Again, check that out.
Yeah.
He is basically... He was kind of bred almost kind of to fight. So his entire exoskeleton is pretty much covered in metal. So if he punches you, like Chewies are... not Chewies. Wookiees are really strong.
Yeah.
But he's really, really strong because he's stronger.
Because
He's kind of... He has enhancements. He was in the pits. You know, he was in the fighting pits. So he kind of has some cybernetics to him.
So the story with Chris Anton is that he didn't abide by Wookiee culture at all. Like, he wanted to...
He just was more violent, like more...
Yeah,
like,
he just wanted to do his own thing and follow his own rules. And essentially, he got banished from Kashyyyk.
I mean,
because of it.
Emphasize his fur color. He was the black sheep of...
I was like, oh, you're
of the Wookiee creatures. Thank you.
I get it. But
even without the cybernetics, he's a badass.
Yeah, he essentially volunteered to go because if you don't know this by now, Wookiees and Trandoshans don't like each other very much
because of the whole Trandoshans being like slave owners, or like they'll peel off their fur.
I mean, Trandoshans would literally kidnap Wookiees to hunt them for sport.
Because they were a more worthy challenge. Because Wookiees are like wilderness people.
Yeah.
So they know how to like...
Chris Anton essentially... Well, it's neither confirmed nor denied. Like, he took a dead Wookiee, put him up against a tree to bait...
the Trandoshan
hunters to go get him. And killed 3... There was a party of 4. Killed 3 of them easily. Left the 4th one alive. To bring him to the gladiator and people to give him because he wanted to fight and he wanted a way off of Kashyyyk.
I mean, he got banned from that planet anyways.
Yeah, exactly. So which is
the first Wookiee in history, by the way.
And even then, the brothers were like that ran the gladiator rink were like, why isn't the Wookiee chained up? And the Trandoshan was like, he volunteered to come. He's just like, what?
Yeah, this was no Hunger Games volunteered as tribute. This was
he's like, I
want to beat somebody up just because I can.
Yeah, and then they shock him into submission, and then they put the cuffs on him anyway. And they're like, rule number 1, always wear the cuffs. And they essentially had to get him through a bunch of different surgeries because if they did incorporate like enhancements on him, like give him like rocket launchers and everything like that, he would be considered a cyborg.
Yeah.
And he would have to fight other droids. And he would easily be killed because of that. So they had to think outside of the box, and they were like, how can we make this Wookiee better?
We'll just reinforce his skeleton with metal.
Exactly.
That's why he was able to take all those blast rifles?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I was very confused because I don't really know his history back then. But I was like, how's he not dead? He took like 10 billion shots.
Yeah, no, his entire exoskeleton thing was reinforced with metal.
Basically from head to toe.
Exactly. He had brass knuckles that had like electricity coming out of them. And Chris Anton was basically undefeated throughout the entire time he was in the gladiator rings. And he went back there on multiple times like multiple occasions, by the way. He was undefeated, never lost a fight. Like he was like LeVar Ball, undefeated, never lost.
Yeah,
but like it's just unbelievable to me, and I like just to have him in canon again. Oh, I just love it. I love it.
So, like we said earlier, Boba, brains and muscle. And Chris Anton is definitely
the muscle.
Definitely the muscle. Like, sure, Fennec, she's a legendary assassin. Boba's Boba. But it's like, who else,
Yeah.
Who else?
Also,
Definitely not the Power Rangers. Who else? Chris Anton, like, all three of them could probably take down an army. Like, Chris Anton is a very valuable asset, and his morals, are a little up in the air, but as long as you're not a Trandoshan, I think you might be okay.
And also one more thing, if I may. Chris Anton was, when Jabba was in power, when he was ruling Tatooine, he only, like, called upon certain bounty hunters, like, that were his favorite to, like, hey, I need this done now.
Like Cad Bane.
No, not even Cad Bane.
I'll go Cad Bane. It's easy.
It was Boba Fett and Black Chrysanthemum.
Yep.
Those were the 1A, 1B for him. All the rest of them were like, whatever. But there was a story that Ryan was talking about with his eye, involving Obi-Wan, and Obi-Wan was protecting Luke at the time. So Uncle Owen and Aunt Peru were moisture farmers at the time, and Jabba collected taxes on moisture farmers by collecting their water.
Yep.
Obi-Wan, Obi-Wan didn't want Jabba to find out that Luke was there. Like, that way word can get back to Vader and anything like that. So he took care of the thugs and everything like that. So word got back to Jabba about it. This is story time. Nerds Got Words story time, by the way.
No, Nerds Got Words rant time.
He basically hired Chrysanthemum to find out who the hell it was and bring him to Jabba. So he started out in the area, and then he saw Uncle Owen out there, and he tried to draw out Obi-Wan, or whoever it was, by trying to kill Uncle Owen. And at the time, Owen didn't want Obi-Wan to train Luke at all, and he wanted to stay away from him. Ironic, Obi-Wan saved Uncle Owen. But, long story short, Chrysanthemum got in a fight with Obi-Wan. He tried not to use his lightsaber at all to defeat him, anything like that, in a fear of getting exposed. But he had no choice. So he whips out the lightsaber, basically cuts his eye. That's how he gets the scar on his eye, if you don't know already, from Obi-Wan. So I hope we see that fight scene in the Kenobi show.
Yeah, so, Chris Anton. And he's important because when the two dummies, the two twins come in and try and pull up, like, out of all the bounty hunters, they bring Chris Anton.
Mm-hmm.
And Chris Anton's like, what's up? Like, he just stands there. He's like the menace.
I always
just
like
looks
when he
intimidating.
pops out, he has those crazy eyes. He's like...
I
was like, you okay, bro?
Yeah, he's just like,
blink if you're okay. He's just like...
He's like, you trying to go, boy? Meanwhile, Boba's in like full vibranium, but he's like, or not full vibranium.
Beskar.
Thank you. Wrong thing here. It's like, you trying to go, boy? But yeah, so Chris Anton, I'm glad he's canon. I'm sure we'll see more of him. He's definitely not a one and done character.
No, he's not.
And so
I do hope he leads more to like of a better person vibe, just like how Boba went through it.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope we see more of that.
Yeah, I doubt he's gonna get his own show or anything like that. I just, he's just not a talker. Like, neither was Boba, but Boba's Boba.
Because their language is literally...
yeah. But, Chris Anton was there, and so, the Hutts come in, and you're just like, oh boy, you knew it was coming. what are these two idiots gonna do?
I honestly didn't see that coming.
Okay, they are separated though, right?
Which Boba didn't either because there's apparently internal conflict going on in Now Hutta.
Yeah.
From the Clone Wars, like more than half the council's dead. Jabba took pretty much the sole leadership of the Hutt clan, and then he died. So it's
Didn't the Empire kill a few of them too?
Yeah, and then it's like the fight
because of another story regarding Han Solo.
Yeah, and it's like a fight for power. So somehow, I guess it's settled. The twins pull up. They're like, we're taking over. And now, for those of you that don't know, you need, most people are like, why don't you just shoot them? They're just there. You need permission from the literal Hutt council to kill a Hutt. If you kill a Hutt, that's an entire criminal organization going after you.
Pretty much,
I'm still a little surprised you still don't do it.
Yeah, you need permission from crime bosses to kill other crime bosses.
Yeah,
well, in between the Hutts, though.
Yeah.
So they show up for a little bit. I don't know if I would have liked them to stay a little bit longer, but regardless, they serve their purpose. They give Boba a Rancor.
Yeah.
So they
played by the Rancor trainer Machete.
Yeah. So they.
I was like, Machete's Machete's in Star Wars.
So they leave some. So from the flashbacks themselves, you already know that the Pikes kind of have a threshold already on Tatooine.
Yeah.
So it's like, this is not profitable, blah blah. And from what we've just said earlier, is Tatooine is very profitable. So that was first just sus, but. So what happens is now we get to the main essential villains of the show, which is the Pike Syndicate. Mm-hmm. Now, the Pike Syndicate are basically the drug cartel of Star Wars. They deal in spice, which is a very popular drug, and they make a lot of money. And so they come in and take over. And one thing that I found odd is, how the hell do the Pikes have enough clout to pull off the Hutts from probably one of the Hutt's most profitable planets, let's be honest.
But wasn't it because the Hutts aren't really controlling much of Tatooine anymore?
Well, it was because of...
Well, regardless, they own ownership of the planet.
Apparently, Jabba promised the Pikes Tatooine when he died.
Yeah.
Apparently, because the brother and the sister, the twins were like, yeah, Jabba promised Tatooine to another syndicate.
Yeah.
So we're dipping.
So
I
would say the Pikes in the Hutts. I don't know I don't really know. I'm just gonna naturally assume that they're kind of equal, level-headed in power. The Hutts might be a little bit stronger, but I doubt the Pikes are stronger. So it's kind of like, who's the bigger bad? Who's like from my perspective, the Pikes do not have enough clout to pull off the Hutts, especially from one of their favorite worlds. Pretty much that's Jabba's palace. Why would they give it to the Pikes of Jabba's palace? So it's like, who else who's backing their play? It's kind of like the Ronin to Thanos, and the Pikes, in my opinion, were the Ronin. Who's backing their play? Now,
yeah, but I honestly think that they do have enough clout to pull it off.
I don't know.
But you are right, though. I think that in the next season that they're...
I mean, even how the show...
We're going to get the Thanos to Ronin.
Yeah, but even how the show, just how it played out, it felt like they just kind of were given it without much argument, and that there had to be someone... it's like, sure, they're reporting to their own... council on the Pike Syndicate.
Yeah.
But it just kept giving us that shroud of mystery of who's there.
Mm-hmm.
So naturally, I believed it was the Crimson Dawn, which definitely have the strongest firepower of any of the crime families.
Yeah.
As well as probably the strongest loyalty outside of the Pike, because it's like the Pikes, they're just a species.
Yeah.
They're just, you're not going to turn on your own speed. Well, they might, but So it was like the Crimson Dawn, who knows? Now, how Boba ends is we don't get to see that, even though I was expecting it kind of built up to something. It's like, woohoo! Like, let's go! We beat the Pikes, right? And then it's like, boom! It's like the end of Thor Ragnarok, where it's like, boom, Thanos' ship. They're celebrating, boom, Thanos.
It's like, shit.
So this is like, okay, they're weakened from having to defeat the Pikes. So I assume, since the Pikes are defeated, maybe the twins come back with the Hutts. Maybe Crimson. Maybe whoever was backing the Pikes comes in.
But I'm pretty sure it's going to be the Hutts.
Yeah. So who knows? We might find out Book of Boba Season 2. We might find out at the end of Mando Season 3. So who knows? But just as the Pikes in general, Adrian, what did you think about them just being the villain? Like, were you expecting a crime family to be the villain or an individual person?
I think they were great because at the same time, you didn't see much of them in Clone Wars at all. Mm-hmm. Obviously, their designs were a lot different. They looked like frogs without their masks instead of like actual snakes.
Yeah.
Because that's how I saw them in the Clone Wars seasons.
Yeah.
They looked like kind of like a snake.
Yeah.
But here in the show, they look like frogs.
Like a fish or something.
Yeah, it's the fish. Like, how frogs croak and the thing grows? Yeah, that's what I thought. And I was like, wait, I thought they were like snake looking, but no, they look like frogs to me. But the fact that I just like that it was something different that they haven't really used.
Yeah.
So that's what made me enjoy it a lot more.
I'm just glad it wasn't the Empire or something. They're on a crime world in the Outer Rim. I'm glad that they kind of kept it in that sphere of influence,
Yeah, it was, like I said, it's like a Wild West. So it's obviously gangs against gangs, and Pikes being one of them. You obviously get to see a little bit some of the other races too. Not much of it, but some of them. Of all the other crimes bosses.
Yeah.
So I was actually kind of happy to see that too.
I just knew it wasn't the Black Sun because out of all the big families, I feel like the Black Sun is the weakest one, Let's be honest. So, but what did you think about the Pikes being the overall villain of Season 1?
I liked it. I really enjoyed it. But to Adrian's point, though, he is right. We didn't get to see them enough during the Clone Wars.
Definitely.
And we kind of saw them a little bit in the Bad Batch. But...
Well, they did help us discover that Dooku is Darth Plagueis.
Yeah, that's very true. That's very true. But, either way, I was very confused when I saw them as well, because I thought that they were snake-looking guys as well. But then when they took their masks off, they looked like actual Pikes. Like the fish. And I was just like, what?
Well,
but
Pike. Yeah. Let's be
I know. I got the connection.
You knew it was the Pikes just by their helmets, which, by the way, they're freaking cool.
Yeah, when I started seeing their helmets, like, oh, these are the Pikes from Star Wars.
Yeah, I was like, oh, damn, okay, this is awesome.
I understand there's also like a critique on, hiring personnel, but I definitely felt that there should have been a lot more Pikes than there was.
Yes, there should.
They want to rule an entire planet, and they have to fight a war, and they only brought like one or two civilian. I mean, they weren't even on Pike ships. They were on like civilian vessels or something.
Yeah,
like there's only about maybe there was more on the planet. Maybe they won that. They won the battle, but not the war. Maybe Season 2, half of Season 2 is finishing off the rest of the Pikes. Just because they killed that current leader, the Pikes might send more. Who really knows? And I really enjoyed that about this show. It's like, what the heck's gonna happen in the next one?
Yeah,
I have no idea. So, the Pikes, in my opinion, I thought it was cool. Out of all the villains, like all of the crime families, I was really hoping that it was not like just the Hutts, I saw the twins and I was like, oh hell. But then they left for the Pikes. So I was like, cool. Who else is next? Now,
what's one thing I really hope that they do for the second season for Boba? Hondo.
Oh God!
I love Hondo.
If he's still alive, he needs to show up.
Hondo,
here we go.
Hondo
is not on third season of Mando,
man.
but he needs to be in the live action.
Oh,
Hondo is easily one of the best characters in all of Star Wars.
And
opinion.
This is his setting. This is kind of his setting. So it's more than perfect for him.
And
you're right. You're right. I just with him, it's just oh God.
I just feel like we'll get that. We're gonna get that huge comic relief.
You know how he's gonna enter?
Just do it.
Hello, my friends. And I'm like, this.
And then he comes out, Boba, my friend.
Yeah, Boba, and then it's like,
I thought you were dead. Something like that.
Oh, Boba, it's just business. Like, dude, Hondo is the fucking best, dude. I would love Hondo to be a part of the crew. It'd be hilarious.
It'll be great. I just
Ditch
think
the Power
I already
Rangers,
know that it's
insert
gonna
Hondo.
happen one day, and when that day comes, you're just gonna call me. You're just gonna like I told you. I'm like, oh god, here
Oh
we
my
go.
god, dude! Because Hondo literally has spoken or had involvements with pretty much all of the major characters. Anakin, Obi-Wan. Boba. Every
Rebels. He was even in Rebels.
Obi-Wan, my friend.
It's like you
Like,
fucked me
Hondo,
over. Nah, that's just business.
Kenobi, that was just business.
Like he is so.
Exactly.
I would love to see him. And to your point, Outer Rim, crime. What else is he doing? They brought back Cad Bane. Why can't they bring back somebody else?
And also, now since we mentioned Cad Bane.
Yeah, let's talk about Cad Bane.
Wasn't expecting that, to be honest. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't, there was nothing reflected about Cad Bane. I thought he was already dead.
I thought he was too.
I mean, he had a Western vibe. And you see him off in the distance. You know who it is.
I saw him and I was like, oh my god, that's Cad Bane.
Yeah,
I was
A
like,
lot of
that's
people
Cad
are
Bane.
when I first saw, I was like, my first initial thoughts of what was going to happen during the series was that Bosk was going to be working with the Pikes, and maybe another bounty hunter like Dengar or something like that would have been working alongside with the Pikes.
I think Bosk would come in. It just makes sense.
Yeah, hopefully they bring in Bosk.
But
Boba and Bosk are
Chris
boys.
Sanson and they have a love-hate relationship.
Yeah, definitely.
But
Bosk is its own person, to be honest.
Yeah. But and then Boba's side would have had Chris Sanson and Fennec along with Mando. But I didn't expect Cad Bane to come in at all.
Listen,
and when I saw him come in, I was just like, "Who is that?" And then because the heat and the sand, I can't see it. But then when he got closer, I was like, "That's Cad Bane."
Now Boba's old, but Cad Bane at this point, when he's introduced, is really old. His species does not live very long.
No, they don't.
Their lungs suck, which is why he has those things.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, helps him breathe in space.
Yeah.
So he doesn't need a spacesuit. And a lot of people critiqued him. It's like this, that. But dude, when you get older, you change. Let's calm down.
Yeah, they were complaining how he wasn't blue enough. And I was like, but he's older.
You get paler.
Essentially, his species dies out. The longest expectancy rate to live, the average rate is 50 to 60 years old.
Yep.
Cad Bane
easily
at this time
80.
was 80 years
At least
old.
80.
Yeah. Doing the most deadliest profession? You gotta give him props for living
And
this
I
long.
will say, even though he is really old, that is one hell of a bounty hunter to hire.
Mm-hmm.
Bosk is one thing, but Cad Bane is another. Cad Bane has probably fought more Jedi than I think any other bounty hunter, and has lived to tell it. He often kind of won.
Let me just say this. If they didn't use, and it was confirmed in comic books too, if they didn't use Jango Fett's DNA to make the clone army, their second choice would have been Cad Bane's.
Dude, imagine instead of human looking, you just got a bunch of blue aliens running around shooting
fucking
stuff.
tubes everywhere too.
Yeah.
They need them to last longer.
Execute Order 66. Okay. Let's be honest, his skin tone, who cares? There's only one...
it will be done, my lord.
There's only one canonical critique you can make. His hat was not big enough. And even if they did make it, it wouldn't be enough. It needed to be bigger.
It would have been a
for
fun...
me, but
He needed to be like...
I know, but it would have been funny, because you know how
he
he killed one of the other bounty hunters when he entered that tournament in Glory. He's like,
just to get his hat.
Just to get his hat. I was like, yeah, a nice hat.
You know what would have been hilarious? If the deputy had a hat like that, and he just popped two taps and killed him, and just took his hat.
Yeah.
That would have been hilarious. And that would 100% be some shit that he'd do, because he's done it probably a lot of times.
My only other critique on him was that his face in Clone Wars was very long and very narrow. In this one, it was kind of short. A little bit.
Yes, but you're comparing animated
I'm comparing
with
an
full
anime
creativity.
to a real life thing, but still, That's my only other complaint.
All
It's not really like a complaint. It's just like more like a. Oh, I noticed that.
Come on, let's not be typical nitpicky Star Wars fans that ruin everything.
I think he was perfect. Honestly, I don't think he missed
nitpicky Star Wars fan.
Yeah,
he was great. The voice was great. The design was great. I had nothing to complain about.
Which is why I will say
he didn't have a toothpick.
Which is why I will say
you're right. Never mind.
That's it. Cad Bane, trash.
Which is why I will say this here and now for all of you guys to see. They had better do Kenobi a justice.
Oh, I'm pretty sure they will.
Because
if he's the damn main character and his name's on the show, it better not be bad.
Star Wars fans our age, we grew up with the prequels. So we grew up with Obi-Wan. We grew up with Anakin.
They got the right actor. They got the same actor.
And the one that's playing Anakin's coming back too.
Yeah, as Vader.
Yeah.
So no... Lucasfilm, if you're watching, no Disney type of endings. Keep it true to Star Wars, please.
I mean,
for the love of God, please.
I mean, let's think about it. We have Mando, really good. We have Book of Boba, really good. This one not only has just Boba just had to compete with Mando. This one has to compete with 2 shows, and you know what's coming right after that? I would assume Ahsoka, and now.
No.
Or Ahsoka's eventually
coming. The next show is
after Kenobi.
No. I mean, in the order. The next.
Well, I don't
show
think they
is,
go. I don't think they even go in order. Timeline wise.
No, I think
no. Like I'm talking about the shows that are coming out this year.
Oh well, first is Kenobi. I don't know what's
No. It's the guy from Rogue One, his show. I think that's what's coming out next.
No, I think they canceled that.
Oh, really? They did?
Okay. Kenobi in May.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah.
Never mind. So it'd be Kenobi, then Ahsoka, then... when is Alkalite coming out?
That I don't know.
And
They probably canceled that one
December.
too.
What?
They canceled a few shows, yeah.
Oh my, I'm sad now.
We have Mandalorian Season 3 coming out in December. So, but let's be honest, these shows... It's not about how amazing are they going to be. It's about how amazing are they when you compare them to the others in the lineup.
Yeah, that's true.
And, Cad Bane is just... He's kind of iconic like Boba. His look is iconic. When you see him, no matter how far away he is, just like it showed in the show, you know who it is. And the fact that he's still alive is awesome. But now let's talk about how he died. And... I'm going to just assume that he's really dead, but I would not mind if he came back again. Now, how he died was, one, I was a little disappointed because it wasn't a straight shootout. And let's be honest, Cad Bane is by far a better shot.
He would have won, easily.
But the fact that it was kind of a little bit poetic how he used his stick, which, he wouldn't have learned if he didn't fall in the Sarlacc pit and train, but he used his new knowledge to defeat Cad Bane when Cad Bane was like, "You'll never be good enough, I taught you better than that." And he uses his external knowledge that he didn't learn from Cad Bane to defeat him. That I liked. But the whole no shootout thing was a little bit disappointing, but at the same time there was just a lot of shit going on. They crammed a lot of stuff into this last episode.
Yeah,
what did you think about his death scene?
I mean, I was a little bit disappointed too, just because. But at the same time, I knew that
it's called Book of Boba. Boba had to win
in a shootout between Cad Bane and Boba Fett. It was kind of obvious who was going to win.
I mean,
in a shootout between a Western cowboy alien.
Western cowboy alien,
and a guy who's in Beskar, just
No. Even better. A Western cowboy, pretty much God, versus a guy that still has semi-daddy issues.
Yeah.
Who would win?
Yeah.
Boba would only survive for a little bit because of his Beskar.
Cad Bane is easily the fastest gun in Star Wars.
Yeah.
There was no contest with that at all. But I do like how it was poetic justice.
He used in Dune. He used sand power.
How he used sand power. It's just used his Tuscan stick and just killed him.
What do you think about it, Adrian? Cad Bane death scene. Well, I'm putting parentheses around death.
He's big dead.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's big dead.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure too. But hey,
I think it was good. Like, I feel like I wanted it to be better, but I honestly
there
can't
should have been a shootout, man. Even if
More
just a
of
little bit of a
but at the same
shootout.
time, it just proved how much Cad Bane was a little bit better. But at the same time, Boba just survived luckily because he had the armor.
Yeah,
now, if it was Book of Cad Bane would have whooped his ass.
There's gonna be no Sidious like, oh, I'm back, like
he's
thing
dead,
with him. He's big
I just
dead.
like how in the end he didn't kill him with a blaster. He killed him with the wooden stick.
Yeah.
I think that was great.
Like the thing that he learned on his own that he didn't learn from Cad Bane.
Exactly.
It was
literally the one thing Cad Bane didn't teach him how to do.
Yep.
He learned it by someone else.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I would have...
As soon as he had the stick up, I was like, do it.
Execute. But, so now, Book of Boba. Now, a little bit towards the end of the season. Now we get into Mando 2.5. Now, we have 2 full seasons of Mando, which I loved, but at the same time, it is Book of Boba.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, it did take a lot out of the show, but honestly, I didn't care. I loved it.
I didn't care. It was
mind.
awesome. It showed, the Darksaber. It kind of set up, there was Boba in Mando to set up Book of Boba. Why can't there be Mando and Boba to set up, season 3 of Mando? Exactly. Which you already knew he was coming from his soundtrack at the end of one of the episodes. Mm-hmm. After he negotiates with the crime families. Or the other lords.
I think
it was episode 3.
4 or 5.
4. I'm pretty sure it was 4
because Mando got like 2 full episodes.
Oh, you're right. I think it was
4 and 5.
You're right.
And then 6 was the last one.
Yep.
So I'm pretty sure it was episode 3. You just hear at the end.
7 was the last one.
No, there's only 6 episodes. Right?
No, it was 7.
Oh, then it must have been 5 and 6, and then
yeah. So 4.
So 4, yeah.
So first off, we don't even need to discuss it. It's awesome. If you didn't like it, you're a hater. Moving on. One thing that sucked. Now, I understand Beskar is meant to be armor, not a weapon, because Beskars can pretty much survive lightsaber hits, and the fact that there's a weapon that can hurt a Mandalorian is dangerous. So she just
and there's only 2 types of outcomes that could have happened when making the Beskar spear. Is that A, the person really didn't like Mandalorians, or B, they just wanted to see Mandalorians die.
Yep. Now, would have been cool if, Boba's got a stick, Mando's got a stick. They could have been stick bros. Dude, it would have been awesome if just 3 pikes line up and Mando just kills all 3 of them.
That would have been cool.
That would have been awesome. But the fact that it was melted and made into a little chain vest for Grogu is acceptable. If it was just melted, I would have been like, what the hell is this? But they made it for Grogu. He goes over there.
The foundling.
Yeah. He pretty much gets kicked out of his clan, and the only way he can redeem himself is to bathe in the salt mines of Mandalore, which I assume was what's going to happen in Season 3, and which is why he needs Boba to kind of have more control of Tatooine to get some cash money going for his premise of taking over Mandalore, because you can't... Yes, the 1,000 Tears is probably hella bombarded, but you can't assume that.
And that was also a great scene.
Yeah,
you can't assume that no one's there. I'm sure there's some Empire.
But so sick at the same time.
There has to be some Empire presence there, and that's where I think Admiral Thrawn is, which encodes all 3 of the series, which we explain in our Instagram video, but we'll go into a little bit later. So
yeah, I feel like all the other side shows are just going to connect into
definitely.
Mandalorian.
Let's just do it now. What I think is happening. Mando has the Darksaber. What does that mean? And he also won in combat. What does that mean? He's the ruler of Mandalore. So he got to go to Mandalore with the money from Boba to help him fund an army to go get it. I assume Grand Admiral Thrawn is there because he was one of the key figures in charge of 1,000 Tears and destroying Mandalore. And Ahsoka is looking for Grand Admiral Thrawn to find Ezra, which in Rebels him and Grand Admiral Thrawn kind of left on some whales that can use light speed. Little did you know. So I assume
squid whales.
Yeah. So I'm assuming Admiral Thrawn is there with Ezra, which coincides all three of the shows and kind of a team up like how Marvel's Defenders, except this one it'll be good.
Yeah.
That is my big overlining theory. Will it come true? Who the hell knows? But would it be awesome if I was right?
Yes.
Yeah. So
That's honestly what I think is going to happen too.
it just makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, where else? There's no way Admiral Thrawn's dead. Where else would he be? And he's a little narcissistic, egocentric. Why would he not be where his pretty much his greatest triumph was? So, anyways, he made the chainmail for Grogu. So not only does he get a badass ship, he gets what ship does he get? I'll let you explain it because he's so excited about this.
Mm-hmm. He gets a Royal N1 Starfighter. This isn't the normal Starfighter, ladies and gentlemen. This is a Naboo Royal Starfighter. The same one that Anakin used in The Phantom Menace. Now, what's so special about this ship is that...
Hard as hell to get one.
Yeah.
Fast
you
as fuck.
literally, it's fast as hell. It's so agile. You can literally make sharp turns at the blink of an eye.
I honestly think the ships are shit because they were shot down so easily in the first movie.
Fair enough.
And then every time we go to Star Tours and we watch those.
Yeah.
Okay, but then
get blasted.
just
I
get
was like-
shot down. Yeah, but
So
still.
so when I saw it, I was like, oh, why do you want that? I was just dying.
Well, even Mando was like, "This is not a Razor Crest. What the hell is
I
this?"
didn't say you were getting a razor, but I just I guess I was like, it'll do, but I just thought it was a little stupid.
Either way, you need special permission to buy those ships from the Queen of Naboo herself.
Is there even one?
Huh?
Is there even one?
Yes.
Now there is.
Oh, no, there is. Okay.
But
hopefully we get something in the third season because of that.
yeah, but either way,
Listen, Naboo's the
now,
place to be.
but even then, if you had to go through a background check to purchase this ship, and if the Queen didn't like what she saw, it's request denied.
Yeah. So basically, the fact that he had one is really awesome. You know, they tune it up. He flies it. We get some, wizard. We get some flashbacks, more nostalgia.
We find out that the mechanic dated a Jawa.
Yeah,
Which
we found out they were furry.
Which, by the way, outside of that, we have almost zero insight to where they were.
Yeah.
They were as iconic as trying to figure out what the hell planet Grogu and Yoda come from.
Yeah.
To this day, we still don't know where they come from. So,
But there's more of them. More than a Grogu and a baby Yoda.
well, outside of Yoda and his
Grogu, where do you come from?
What?
I guess he ain't talking.
so outside of Yoda and his sisters, there's only ever been like one at a time that comes out usually of that species, and they're always force sensitive, etc. But so he flies to the planet where Luke's training him, and
Or where he's starting his school.
where he's starting his school.
Yeah.
So we definitely see that. So we know outside of the new trilogy that they put into Legacies, him building a school is still what they're going with, which
Yeah.
I like. I liked that. Now, will Ben do this bullshit again? I don't know. I think everyone has PTSD about that, so I don't think Ben will be there. But anyways, R2's like, the hell you want? And he's like, the child. And so R2D2, lays him down and insert Ahsoka, which I honestly
didn't see coming.
I did not really expect Ahsoka to be there. Did you expect Ahsoka
No,
to be there?
it was a nice surprise. I really liked that.
Because Luke's trying to rebuild the Jedi Order, and she's kind of done with them.
Yeah.
So I was kind of surprised that Ahsoka was there, and you were happy. We were all happy Ahsoka was
I was
there.
really happy when she said, I'm a family friend.
Yeah,
I was like,
she's like, I'm a friend of the family. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah. So as we kind of expected, obviously Mando was essentially not permitted to see Grogu because Grogu still has that strong attachment.
He still has a
with
strong
Mando.
attachment with him. As you know, Jedi are not allowed to have attachments at all. If Grogu saw the Mandalorian at that time, he would have been back to square one. And Din Djarin didn't want that for Grogu. So
I mean, they just left home plate, got to first base. Why would you want to run back to home plate?
Exactly.
And he's training with the droid like he's doing dope. Little baby Grogu is doing backflips and stuff now.
I was like, oh, dang, he's actually doing it.
He remembers.
He's instead of force lifting rocks, he's force lifting frogs. Like we're already upgrading from the trilogy.
Even then, before we get into further, we get to see what his perspective was of Order 66.
Definitely.
And that was such a good scene. So now we know he was at the temple of Order 66.
Now we have 5 canon shots of Order 66. We have the original one, obviously, Revenge of the Sith. We have Jedi Fallen Order. Yeah. With Cal Kestis and everything, getting his point of view.
We have Clone Wars.
We have Clone Wars with Ahsoka's point of view.
Bad Batch.
We have the Bad Batch.
Yep.
With
the Bad Batch point of view.
The Bad Batch's point of view.
And now Grogu. And you could tell Grogu was important at the temple.
There was 4 Jedi
protecting him.
3.
They weren't. Well, that's because as soon as it clocks in, one of them gets shot. So I guess there was 3. But the point is, why Anakin?
Honestly, I would have told him, all right, at the count of 3, push.
I mean, just run. Anakin's probably, I assume, in that same frame, he's probably slicing up other younglings. So the fact that Grogu was separated from the rest and being protected by more than 2
Jedis,
means he's important. And how it cuts off, sorry to interrupt you, but how it cuts off is it still doesn't answer who saved him.
Yeah. We still don't know who saved him.
Who the heck could it be? Let us know who you think.
I think it was R2, because R2 was
R2
at the temple of
It
Order
could
66.
also be the librarian. It's just hard to narrow it down. There were a lot of people at the temple, but there was also a lot of people dying at that temple. It could have been it could have just been one of the temple guards.
It really could have been Jocasta Nu. It could have been anybody, honestly.
I think
season 3 confirms.
I mean, I would like to see another Jedi. However, I think R2 might be probably the most likely candidate. Honestly,
I'm gonna throw a dark horse in there.
Palpatine saved. No, I'm just kidding.
No, I'm going to throw in, what's his name? I'm blanking. He had dreadlocks.
Oh,
the one in the Clone Wars with
the yellow tattoo, right?
Yes, I know who you're talking about.
I keep forgetting his name. I know who you're talking about, but I can't remember his name.
Because after Order 66, he had a dark past. He was a Padawan of Dooku.
Quinlan
Voss, yes.
There you go.
Quinlan Voss.
Ends up falling in love with the next Sith Lord, too.
Yeah.
What's her name? The bald lady chick.
The bald lady chick?
Oh, I can't remember.
Asajj
Ventress. There you go. Ventress. Her.
Yeah.
That would be pretty cool. The point is,
if you have questions, she's dead. Don't worry about that.
Yeah. So that scene essentially showed that a lot of people could have saved him. It doesn't show. Maybe in Mando season 3 we might get another something. Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows? Who really knows? And that's really awesome. But anyway, so Mando kind of drops off the chain vest, is told to get the heck out of here. So he's like, all right, I got stuff to do anyways, I guess. So he leaves.
Which I was very disappointed about.
And, Luke sensed him, obviously. Now, it didn't say if Grogu sensed him or not.
He saw his ship leave, though.
Yeah, Grogu saw it. So, and that raises the question before that episode ends. It's like, did he choose the Beskar? Did he choose the lightsaber?
I honestly didn't think we'll know that in the whole season, to be honest.
I expected season 3 of Mandalorian to be that decision.
Yeah, exactly.
But literally the next episode.
Yeah, but I'm not disappointed that we saw it in Book of Boba. However,
I am.
Pick the lightsaber, man.
Yeah. Nah, homie. Fuck the lightsaber.
Grogu
chose right.
Although I can see where he comes from, though. In that Order 66
That's probably got some PTSD.
They got 4 Jedi protecting him. They all die. Like, who wants to die being a Jedi after seeing that, you know? But either way, he still should have picked should have picked the lightsaber, which was Yoda's, by the way, which they kind of threw out in the canon Vader comic books. But, you know, they just Reddit.com that. But, you know, that's neither here nor there.
Yeah, but in all honesty, I wanted him to pick the lightsaber, but either one was good. You know, I cared which one he picked, but I liked both. You wanted him to just pick the lightsabers because
I would have had the perfect scenario. What I thought was going to happen is that Luke learned from the past Jedi mistakes, right? If Grogu picked the lightsaber as a reward, he would have had Grogu let him keep the Beskar. So that way he could have had both.
I mean, dude, it's Beskar, you know, that's just extra protection, and Grogu's still a little baby at 50 years old. Little did you know. So
I think he's 80.
No, he's 50, I'm pretty sure. Oh, maybe no.
No, he's 60.
50, 60. The point is, and for his species, he's still a little kid.
Actually, no, he is 50. He is 50.
Yeah, he's 50 years old. So it would have been cool. It would have been even more cool if he picked the lightsaber, because that means maybe Din could have came and received he could have been trained with the Darksaber by Luke as well during the lightsaber training. You know, there was a lot of things that could have happened. Maybe if they do a spin-off, like kind of what they did for Marvel What If, where they do, like what if he chose the lightsaber instead. But anyways, before we wrap this up.
Yeah. One more thing about Grogu. With the Rancor in that scene, we've learned that he has beast control. And that, honestly, was surprising to me.
I thought it was cute.
There is only a few people, and one of them is Space Jesus, known as Anakin. Dude, he's Space Jesus! Just cut the crap, man.
Anyway.
Anakin Space, but the only other character that could do that with animals or creatures was Ezra, too.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's a rare force power.
I mean, Rey could do it, but who cares about Rey?
Who cares about Rey? She only does it to heal Snake.
Yeah, so he has beast control. That's a nice little thing, which might be helpful in Season 3 of Mandalorian.
Yeah.
But what do you guys think? What are the future thoughts? What's Season 2 going to do? Are the Hutts going to return? Are the Crimson Dawn? Is he going to be left alone? What do we think? What is going to happen?
I think that Crimson Dawn is going to end up showing up at some point. We're done with the Hutts. I think we're done with the Hutts.
I think.
But I don't think so, because at the same time, you know about the Hutts, you've seen a lot of the Hutts, but at the same time, you've only known so much of one Hutt, not the family group of Hutt. I mean, we started seeing the family, like the whole family House of Hutts, until Clone Wars came out, until like Darth Maul popped out and was like, yo, you're gonna work for me, and he's like, nah. But that's why I think next season it's probably gonna be more of the Hutts, which I'm okay with, because we're gonna see other family members of the Hutt family. And you're also forgetting Jabba's son. There we go.
Yeah. Is Jabba's son still alive? I'm going to assume so. And maybe the reason why the twins were able to come to Tatooine to try and reclaim it is because Jabba's son reclaimed kind of the leadership of the Hutt clan. Maybe he settled the beef. Who knows?
Way, Jabba's species lives a very long time too.
Yeah, they do.
So he's technically still a child.
Yeah. Well, maybe he's in like his teenagers things. Who knows? But I think that's such a Hutts type thing to do, is leave, and then once the dust settles while they're weakened, come back. But, maybe I assume the Crimson Dawns were back in the Pikes, maybe they come in.
I think Kira is going to finally come in, which I would love that. That would be a more than welcome sight to see. But
she was also trained in combat by Darth Maul, so even though she's not force sensitive or has a lightsaber, with the sword, she will still beat you.
She was technically Maul's apprentice.
Yeah. So do you guys see the Empire coming in at all?
Hell no.
No, I don't think so.
I think they're gonna try and keep Empire purely probably Mando type beef.
Maybe. But like I said, Season 3 Grand Admiral Thrawn, maybe that's what we'll see. Or if not, season 3 is just gonna be more backstory to add more into maybe Grand Admiral Thrawn.
Yeah,
To
that's
maybe
true.
like season 4 of Mandalorian. But I just don't think we're gonna see him anytime soon yet.
Yeah.
Unless Ahsoka and whatever else comes back out or still coming out or all builds up together. Like, you know how they sometimes like to add all shows into the very end. Maybe Mandalorian season 4 or 3.
I think even with all the speculation, what happens with Ahsoka in the Ahsoka series is definitely the nail in the coffin of what is going to happen.
Yeah.
Like, if Admiral Thrawn and, if they don't team up in Ahsoka, I don't think they're going to really team up at all. And, will we see Boba and Tatooine in Mando Season 3? Probably. I would say almost 100% guaranteed.
I would say like 80.
I mean, maybe they'll appear for like an episode.
Yeah, just
and
one.
Hondo and Naka.
I would love Hondo and Naka to be there.
Yeah, final ratings, boys. Final ratings. What do we think of it?
Oof.
I'm probably going to see that again, honestly.
See it again.
Because I think if what we're right with, the Ahsoka leading up, like, you just probably got to... Maybe there's hidden Easter eggs throughout all of these.
Exactly. There's always something
we got to go back to watch to see where it all adds up.
Yeah.
Easily watch. Is it better than Mando? I do not think so. But is it that below Mando?
Yes.
No, I don't think at all. I think it was still really good.
I think it's great. Like, it was great. Not better than Mando.
Mando was amazing.
But it was a great story.
Yeah.
And I want to see more on season 2.
I'm definitely going to watch it again.
I mean, maybe from the reviews, they'll see, okay, the fans want more Boba being Boba and kicking ass. So maybe in season 2, he'll kick some more ass. Who knows?
Yeah.
He didn't kick ass. He used the knee.
That's true.
Those rocket knee shots. I thought that was cool, though.
I'm definitely going to watch it again. This is the year of Star Wars, baby. We got Book of Boba already came out. We got Kenobi. We got The Bad Batch Season 2, which I am definitely excited about. And we got Ahsoka. Woo!
And Mando Season 3 to wrap up the year.
And Mando Season 3.
If Omega does live off on Bad Batch and more on, we might see a live-action Omega come out in Mandalorian or something.
Omega better be useful in this next season, otherwise I'm going to be mad. And with that, thank you guys for listening in. We appreciate everyone. Let us know what you think. Do you think our full theory of how they're all connected is too far off? Are we geniuses? I would say are we fucking idiots, but this is Star Wars. This is our shit. So we're not.
Let us know what you guys think is going to happen in the comments below. Do you think that Crimson Dawn is going to come in? Do you think somebody else is going to come in? Let us know what you guys think.
And with that, like, subscribe, give us attention, follow us on Instagram. We're going to be popping off a lot more. We got this green screen now. It looks pretty cool. And with that, you can be nerds about anything, but we're nerds about everything. Later.
Peace.
Bye.